You know, it's kind of wild, right? Like, we hear about societal collapse all the time. It's practically a cliche. But the sources for this deep dive anti-tech revolution, deep green resistance, and technological slavery, they just hit different.
And what I find fascinating is how they connect these huge, complex systems, like, think about it, the entire global economy, to something as personal as, like, our own need to feel like we have agency in our lives. And these sources aren't just making this stuff up. They look at history, like how have past societies dealt with similar problems? And like, did they succeed or totally crash and burn? Like, take the Roman Empire, for example.
Everyone knows it fell apart, but why?
Exactly. But it also shows how unpredictable these complex systems are. Like, one decision, even with good intentions, can spiral into, well, nuclear proliferation, Cold War anxieties, and, oh yeah, dealing with radioactive waste forever. But a lot of the time, it's those small acts of defiance, choosing to do something different, that spark bigger changes. Well, that's where these sources argue that modern society, even with all its advancements, often fails to meet that need. We're drowning in choices. What to buy, what to watch, what to believe. Well, anti-tech revolution uses this phrase, organization-dependent technology. It means that as technology grows, we become more and more reliant on these huge systems to function.
But what are we giving up in exchange? That's the big question.
Exactly, and that's what these sources are getting at. And it's something we'll keep exploring as we go deeper into these sources, because, like, how past revolutions have played out, what worked, what failed, can teach us a lot about how we might deal with the challenges we're facing now. And that's why having a clear goal, a vision for the future is so important. Because just tearing down the old system isn't enough. You need a plan for what comes next, a blueprint for something better. But before I jump to conclusions, this isn't about just like blowing things up. It's much more nuanced and strategic.
Okay, so tell me more about this deep green resistance.
And it's one that deep green resistance really dives into. They're not advocating for violence or chaos for the sake of it. They're advocating for action that's based on a deep understanding of history, how systems work, and most importantly, ethics. But deep green resistance really pushes this idea of ditching that individualistic mindset and tapping into something way more powerful, collective action. And that's why learning from history is so key. One of the sources, Anti-Tech Revolution, makes this point that a lot of activist movements today, while full of passion, they sometimes miss the mark when it comes to strategy. Like, they might be great at raising awareness, and Deep Green Resistance doesn't shy away from that at all. They actually spend a good chunk of time talking about the ethical dilemmas that come with challenging power. They point to a lot of wisdom from indigenous cultures, this deep connection to nature, the importance of community, understanding how everything is connected, and having respect for all forms of life. It's more about recognizing that there were certain qualities that were essential for survival back then. Self-reliance, practical skills, resilience, being connected to nature that we've kind of lost touch with in our modern hyper-connected world.
It's about creating a world where everyone can thrive. A world that's fairer, more sustainable, and more in line with what really matters to us as humans.
Beautifully said.